Have you ever wondered how large can a fruit or vegetable grow? Well, today we're going to show you some of the biggest fruits and vegetables ever created. These items are so big that they can feed a family for days. Some are really weird, some are just gigantic, but they're all very interesting. You'll be surprised by some of these, so let's get started with the list. Number 10, a 17-pound onion. Starting our countdown on number 10, we have the 17-pound onion. If onions induce your tears, then stay away from Peter Glazebrook. He is a gardening enthusiast who set the Guinness World Record of growing a giant onion and other vegetables such as parsnips. He brought his vegetable to the annual World Onion Championship. No, we're not joking. That's a real competition. Even we're shocked to hear this championship. But unlike us, Peter Glazebrook knows about all the gardening competitions. He broke his last onion record with this 17-pound vegetable. We don't know about you, but this size surely scares us. Cutting up alone would be a monumental task, and the fact that onions make you cry doesn't help either. Even the fans of the competition were left wondering how someone would have such a large onion. According to experts, this 17-pound onion is the equivalent to more than 20 large onions. Some say this large vegetable can be used to make at least 136 servings of pot roast. For those of you who don't have a creative imagination, let's just say that's a whole lot of food. Number 9, 24.9-pound sweet potato. On number 9, we have everyone's favorite vegetable, a 24.9-pound sweet potato. A Lebanese farmer, Khalil Samat, has set this record of the largest sweet potato. The man was taken aback by the massive vegetable he grew since it was unintentional. But as they say, all good things happen unexpectedly. So fate was in a good mood when it decided to turn Khalil into a world record holder. The farmer even reported that he didn't use any chemicals on the crop. In fact, this was the first time in his life Khalil grew such an enormous crop. Nonetheless, it turned him famous overnight. Now since 2008, he has been holding the record of growing the largest sweet potato. This discovery made us think about the mysterious way nature works. For example, some people use chemicals to grow fruits and vegetables to break records. Then there are people like Khalil, who are so skilled at farming they don't even need to spray something for a good yield. The only thing that we're disappointed about is not knowing the fate of this gigantic sweet potato. We wonder what it was used for. Do you have any theories about it? If so, be sure to share it in the comments. Number 8, 36-pound cucumber. On number 8, we have a 36-pound cucumber. Did you know that most of these gigantic fruits and vegetables have been grown in the UK? We were as shocked as you when we learned this. But it's the truth. Many of the world records for heaviest fruits have been grown in this land. One such fruit is a 36-pound cucumber. Those of you who have always assumed cucumber was a vegetable, we're sorry, but you've been lied to. Cucumber is a fruit, and the one we're talking about is the largest one from its category. This fruit was grown by Alf Cobb, who beat his own record at the National Amateur Gardening Show in England. His previous record was 35.1 pounds, while his new record is exactly 1 pound higher. Apart from that, this cucumber holds the title of being the world's longest cucumber. The man sure worked hard to ensure that nothing was left to chance. We commend Alf Cobb for this achievement. Who knows how much effort it took for him to grow such an excellent fruit. Number 7. On the 7th spot, we have a 41-pound cantaloupe. Do you know what a cantaloupe is? It is a fruit from the family of melons that is rich in minerals. A regular cantaloupe is highly effective for reducing blood pressure. Now imagine what this 41-pound fruit can do. This massive melon was grown by an Arkansas farmer named Lloyd Bright. He grew this fruit on his family farm during the summer in Hope, Arkansas. However, the thing that amazed us was the farmer's reply. When he asked about the cantaloupe's size, he said it wasn't that big. But let us tell you, Lloyd was too modest. In fact, big is an understatement. This melon is giant compared to other ones of its type. Another interesting fact is that Lloyd does not grow large fruits for competitions. Instead, he farms as a hobby and sells them to people fond of having large fruits. He even claims that he has grown heavier and larger fruits than this 41-pound cantaloupe. All we have to say is that you will get more and more amazed as you go down this list. So if you had enough of this cantaloupe, let's move on to the next one. Number 6, 76-pound green cabbage. Coming on to our number 6, we have the 76-pound green cabbage. If you're a vegetarian, then you will surely love this vegetable size. John Evans, a mechanical engineer and Alaskan farmer, grew this crop in 1998. Until this year, he had also held the record for the largest carrot, but he was outcompeted by another farmer. However, the silver lining is that his green cabbage earned him a new record. So things didn't turn out so bad. You can see his happiness in the picture that he took with his cabbage. The vegetable definitely looks like it would have lasted months. However, we cannot accurately tell you the period. Other than that, the world record has been replaced by another heavier and larger green cabbage, but the legacy of John Evans remains. He was one of the few people who has held a world record for 7 different vegetables. Can you imagine it? We can't manage to even get one, and John here has made 7 records. Number 5. 76-pound jackfruit. On the midway mark, we have another 76-pound item. However, this time it's jackfruit and not a vegetable. This is the heaviest jackfruit that has ever been grown. You might even know this fruit from bubblegum called juicy fruit. Apparently, the flavor of the gum was inspired by a jackfruit. This particular one was 57.4 centimeters long and had a circumference of 121.3 centimeters. George and Margaret Chater grew this jackfruit in 2003 in Hawaii. It is assumed that they shared this sweet fruit with their friends to enjoy their accomplishment for setting a world record. However, that's just speculation. We'll never know what exactly happened to this fruit. It's also an interesting fact that the jackfruit has been growing in Hawaii since 1888, but it seems that George knew what he was doing when he produced the heaviest one. That is because it was the only time such a massive one had grown in Hawaii. What's so special about this fruit that it takes about decades to develop such a giant jackfruit? However, George and Margaret never disclosed the amount of time they put into farming this item. Number 4. 113-pound marrow. On number 4, we have a 113-pound marrow. This massive vegetable set the world record in 2013, and since then, no one has ever beat it. Grown by Ken Day in the UK, it required 2 men to carry the marrow to the display table at the National Amateur Gardening Show. There, it achieved the title of being the largest marrow in the world. The vegetable benefited from wet weather of the area, and the growth thrived. Although it may be the largest marrow, we can say it wasn't the tastiest one. By the appearance, the skin of this vegetable looks dark and craggy. This is evidence that the marrow wasn't best for making food, but alas, it didn't stop it from setting a record, and that too by a difference of 3 kilograms. Ken said that it was his hobby to grow massive marrows, and the secret to his accomplishment was his expertise. Besides growing marrows, he also grew other vegetables that his wife used to make their supper from. Number 3. 127-pound cabbage. On the 3rd position, we have a 127-pound cabbage. This large vegetable was also grown by an Alaskan farmer. It is said that everything is bigger in Alaska. We can't say we disagree. After all, most of the records of the world's largest cabbage have been from Alaska. This one in particular was grown in 2009 by Steve Hubacek. Before this, Steve had grown not 1 but 3 cabbages that exceeded the previous record of 124 pounds. In 2011, he presented a 126.4-pound cabbage and was close to breaking his own record, but he still managed to beat the top with this vegetable. The 127-pound cabbage seemed sufficient enough to make more than 58 servings of cabbage slaw. By the looks of it, the vegetable seems fresh and tasty for cooking. We can only wonder what Steve used his massive cabbage for. Number 2, the 350-pound watermelon. The runner-up of the countdown is a 350-pound watermelon. Christopher Kent grew this massive fruit in 2013. Even the Guinness Book of World Records recognized it as the world's largest watermelon. But it wasn't the first time that Chris grew a watermelon. He's been farming them since 2008 in a small town of Tennessee. According to him, his luck has always been good when it comes to growing massive fruits. In 2010, he produced a 290-pound watermelon and held a world record for it. Since then, he never looked back and broke his record 3 years later with the 350-pound watermelon. Chris said in an interview that many of these seeds he used for farming are from his own crops. That explains why he's able to grow such giant watermelons. His seeds are rich in minerals and have the genes for good growth. Before we unveil the number 1 on our list, here are some honorable mentions. An 18.9-pound giant carrot, 31.25-pound large cauliflower, 35-pound broccoli. Number 1. 1,287-pound pumpkin. And on number 1, we have a pumpkin of 1,287 pounds. Did this entry come as a surprise to you? because for us it wasn't so much. After all, many giant pumpkins have been grown over the years. The owners loved their fruit so much that they even named it. This 1,287-pound pumpkin is called Lucy Lou. J.D. McChelson produced it in Alaska. This fruit was the largest one at the Alaska State Fair. By the looks of it, it must have required at least 4 people to carry this fruit to the table. However, it is not the largest pumpkin humanity has come across. In fact, it is 500 pounds shy of breaking the actual world record. The record is held by Chris Stevens, who grew a pumpkin of 1,810 pounds in 2010. Nonetheless, Lucy is large enough to produce about 430 batches of pumpkin pie. Well, there you have it, 10 of the largest fruits and vegetables ever created. One thing to keep in mind is that these are just some of the biggest fruits and vegetables ever created. Farmers all over the world are trying their best to outdo each other by growing larger and heavier fruits and vegetables. This is why these records get broken every few years. We hope you enjoyed our video. If you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications for all our future ones.